This is a $699 functional trainer.
And unlike some, we've actually been training on it.
And that completely changed how we feel about it.
Let's break it down.
Quick context first, because this matters. This is a plate-loaded cable functional trainer. There's no selectorized weight stack or digital resistance here. And it's also obviously not a rack. So you're not squatting or barbell benching on this. You can do cable pressing, which really changes how you train on it. And that's the lens we're going to use to decide if this is worth the money.
If you caught our last GMWD review, we talked about the human side of the brand. If you missed that one, the link should be here now. And give us a sub so you don't miss more.
So before we go any further, we should clear something up. This is the CC00 version 2. And instead of guessing what changed, we confirmed it directly with GMWD. The pulleys were upgraded from plastic to aluminum. Doesn't automatically make them smoother. Smoothness comes down to bearings and alignment, but aluminum does look more premium and it should hold up better over time. Rows were already handled well with the adjustable foot plate that's down here, but adding a detachable leg holder for pull downs feels like a smart complementary upgrade rather than a replacement. You may still see the older version discounted online, but this review is focused on the current V2. At $699, build quality is where things usually fall apart. So this was something we paid a lot of attention to.
Yeah, on paper, this could have gone either way. It could have felt flimsy or it could surprise you.
And overall, it feels solid. It's not overbuilt, but it doesn't feel sketchy or unpredictable once you start pulling on it.
And stability-wise, this impressed me. It does come with a wall mount bracket, but we didn't use it.
Same. Even without mounting it, we had zero issues.
A lot of that comes down to the wide foot plate. It really helps keep the machine planted.
You know, and small details help too, like the aluminum pop pins.
They look good, but more importantly, they don't feel cheap. And the lever style system adjustment
is way quicker than a traditional pull and line up pin.
Once you use it a few times, you really don't want to go back.
You know, the attachments, that's where you see the price show up a little bit.
But in a good way. They're utilitarian, not premium, but also not garbage.
Yeah, I mean, they work, but they do keep the cost down, which is good.
And aside from a few cosmetic rough spots,
more ugly than anything,
there's nothing that raised safety or structural concerns for us.
So overall, it just looks like a nice piece of equipment.
And honestly, we're seeing that more and more from GMWD.
All right, so quickly here, we're gonna go over how to adjust the arms because there's a lot of adjustment here because they're not on a trolley. So we kind of want to show that you can go down, you can go up with them. So there's vertical, horizontal, lateral, all of it's built into this, but it does kind of affect a little bit how you do it. To go super low, you do have to take the adjustable leg attachment off. But as you can see, there are 4, I'm gonna call forward positions right here. And they use this lever pop pin, which is probably the coolest part of the entire system because it's just quick. You put your hand on it, you squeeze it, and you move it. You don't have to pull one of the pop pins like you have in the back, which rotates the arm so you can go down. Now, say I wanted to get real low, you just move this back and that adjusts your depth from the forward to back on it. Now on the foot plate, it's obviously set up down here for low rows, and this is fully adjustable too. This is on version 2, which is not on version 1, so when you're doing pull downs, you can lock yourself in. So now, let me grab one of these plates, and I'll have Perrin follow around a little bit so you can see. On a plate-loaded system, the plates are in the back here. They are angled up a little bit. So when you put the plate on, you don't have to use a collar to hold it. I would if you're gonna be moving the weight heavy and fast, but this is pretty much the entire system. So before we get into how this trains, let's talk about footprint and space, because in a home gym, this really matters. The base footprint here is about 47 inches deep, 54 inches wide, and 81 inches tall. And just to be clear, that's 81 inches to the top of the arms, since the arms themselves don't move up and down on a trolley. So when you swing the arms fully out to the sides, you're closer to about 75 inches wide. And you do want to account for that when you're doing flies or wide pressing. At the lowest arm position, the arms sit about 12 inches off the floor. The D handles hang down to almost touching the ground. That gives you plenty of low end range for rows, pull-throughs, curls, and any other low cable work. Because this is a 2-to-1 system, you've got roughly 112 inches of cable travel on one side, which works out to be about 56 inches of usable handle travel when you're using both D handles at the same time. For some context, our Viper has about 82 inches of single handle travel and 41 in dual handle. And if we're smart with setup, that's enough to do pretty much everything we want. So comparatively, if I could say that correctly, this system gives you considerable more cable travel, which shows up in how flexible it feels across presses, flies, rows, and accessories without needing the space of a full crossover. Cable feel here is smooth for a plate-loaded system once you understand how to load it. You don't actually need collars, but if plates slide around during faster or more explosive reps, you can feel that slightly through the system. Locking the plates in with collars cleans that up immediately. That's just how plate-loaded setups behave. And since this isn't an overly heavy machine, if you don't bolt it to the floor or wall and you're being really deliberate with heavy loads, you might notice a tiny bit of movement. It's still very solid, and personally, I didn't really notice it or have any issues with it, but it's worth saying out loud, it is what it is.
If you know functional trainers, you already know this. These are incredible bodybuilding tools.
I didn't know that. But you can do a metric ton of different exercises on a dedicated cable setup like this, way more than we could realistically show in one video.
So instead of trying to demo everything, we focused on how it actually feels to train on it and where it really shines.
Yeah, especially with the pressing movements.
For sure. Like cable pressing feels really good here. The pulley height range gives you enough flexibility to set things up without actually fighting the machine.
And the resistance stays consistent throughout the movement.
Now on the pulling side, rows and pull downs are probably the strongest part of this.
And the adjustable foot plate already did a pretty good job there.
Right, and the leg holder just adds better bracing once you start loading pull downs with more and more weight.
And it doesn't feel cramped, even with the smaller footprint.
So the arms and accessories are easy too. Curls, push downs, overhead extensions.
Which makes workouts just flow better.
Exactly. It feels like something you'd actually come back to and not just a novelty piece.
So where this really makes sense is when you pair it with other basics, squat stands, a rack, a bench, using plates you already own. In that setup, this becomes an economical, dedicated cable machine that fills the gap extremely well. Instead of trying to do everything in one machine, it complements what you already have. And that's where the value starts to click here. So there are a few downsides that we think are worth calling out.
The biggest one for us is that it's plate loaded.
If you're lazy about changing plates like we are sometimes,
a stack would definitely be way more convenient.
Another thing I'd love to see is an adjustable trolley here instead of just fixed pivot points for these arms.
So it's not a deal breaker, but it would be nice to have.
We asked GMWD about a stack-loaded version.
And what they said is it's not in the works unless there is a ton of interest.
So that's going to fall on you guys. And I do know that the downsides sound a little light here.
But that's really just a reflection of what this is and where it's priced.
Judged in the right context, there just aren't many real negatives. So is a sub $700 functional trainer actually worth it?
If you want a dedicated cable machine to pair with equipment you already own, yes.
It fills a real gap without trying to replace everything else.
It's stable, easy to use, and realistic for how most home gyms are actually set up.
Yeah, it's not trying to be a $5,000 all-in-one.
And honestly, that's why it works.
And for most people, this ends up being a really smart addition.
If you want to check out the CC00 version 2 or see current pricing, we've got the link down in the description. And if you choose to use it, those are affiliate links that really help support the channel.